Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of What's Your Sankalp? Today, we have the honor and privilege of having a guest that you all might have heard of. You might have heard her songs, which are evergreen and extremely popular, especially in Telugu.
And here we are today, bringing her face onto our podcast show. Her story is truly inspiring, and our hope is you will take a bit from her story, and we hope you'll enjoy the conversation that we have with her.
Okay.
Firstly, what an honor to have you on our podcast show. This
Pleasure is all mine.
Huge for us, and we are such ardent fans. And I want to formally welcome you to the show. So here we are today with Sumangali Ariyanayagam. I hope I said that correct.
Perfect.
Our show What's Your Sankalp with your host Monica and Sankalp. Welcome, Sumangali.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Where are we talking to you from? Let's start with that.
I am in San Jose, California, and I've been here for about 6 years now. Yeah.
I want to tell you a little story before we get into the questions set. This one song is Nato Vastava.
I didn't expect that song.
That song I used to sing to Mouni when we were doing long distance. This was 1.5 years ago.
Yeah. I have to say it's such a it played such a pivotal role in our love story. This one song.
I was in Houston, Texas, and she was in India when we started to talk to each other. And I used to sing to her, that was my form of love language. Telugu songs are and for most people out there, Telugu songs are, in a way of expressing love. I used to sing to her.
And especially songs in your mother tongue, I feel, when you understand the lyrics, when you understand what
Yeah.
And
that's actually quite nice to know something about that song, because I think this is the first time somebody is mentioning that particular song. Usually they mention some of the other songs of mine, which are pretty much trademark romance or whatever, but this is the first time. So this is actually special for me that somebody's actually mentioned this.
I'm talking about the song to the listeners, of course, because we have the voice of that song and more evergreen Telugu songs that everyone knows. But our attempt today is to bring the story of that voice in the form of our podcast episode. And we hope we do justice to your story so far.
Of course.
I want to understand. I know, we're millennials. I'm going to ask you a little bit about social media. Trying to understand your presence on social media. We realize that you just opened an
Yes.
You have no Wikipedia page, which I am so upset about. Someone needs to start one right away. And I want to ask you, is this a conscious choice you make to, sort of stay behind the scenes, or is it just, is it a preference, or is it just how things happen?
I think it's a little bit of the preference. I see some of my colleagues who are very much in the game, even when we are touring together or catching up for shows, I have to remind myself, oh, you know what? I'm going to go on stage, so I should put a story. I need to tell that to myself. But for a lot of them, it comes organically. They're constantly, it's like part of their a routine, their daily routine. For me, I need it like a reminder. So I'm like, okay, oh yeah, I can post this, right? Okay, let me post. That is one thing. And Instagram, I've of course had so many of my colleagues, my friends telling me, get on it. And then I don't know, suddenly one fine day, out of the blue, just like that, I just opened the account. But even then, I know for a fact that I being in the kind of profession that I have, I need to be a lot more proactive on it, because I get so many messages from people saying that we want to see videos of you singing, And then I'll be like, yeah, you know what? I can actually post a video. And then I'll be like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow doesn't come. So I think if I keep telling myself I need to be more active. Hopefully I get to do that. But yeah, it started off as a preference. Like I never get that thing like, okay, I want to share this. I've never
Right.
had that. So, but I think today, social media is almost kind of like a resume as also, for what you're doing and stuff.
Yeah.
So I need to get that sorted a little more.
Sumangali, we are asking you this because we feel like you don't get the credit that you deserve. Because even with the Nato Vastawa song, I'm so sorry to
Yeah,
say, I didn't know you were the singer.
yeah,
When
I know that.
I bumped into your profile and all of that
Yeah,
recently, I looked up your
yeah,
song. I was like, oh my God, this song was sung.
yeah.
That's why we
Yeah,
wanted to ask,
yeah.
you have,
At this,
yeah,
people have told me this as well. There are still a lot of people who do not know that you sang this and you sang that. So yeah, yeah. I hear you.
how does it feel now to, see all those videos, reels, and all of that on social media where people are singing to your song, not just singing, but different forms of art, dance,
Yeah,
and putting on
yeah,
a little, day of their life or something like that? How does it make you feel?
yeah, yeah. I tend to feel very overwhelmed. Sometimes I see some messages and uh, people send these really long messages saying that how um, even today they send me screenshots of their playlists
Hmm.
on Spotify,
Yeah.
and they have like exclusive playlists just with my songs. So I never expected. I don't even think like people are people listening to my songs, are they aware of these songs? I've never even thought in those lines. So when I get these screenshots for a second, I don't know how to react. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
really? And then I send them a detailed thank you message. I respond to everybody who messages me. I try to respond to everyone.
Right.
So yeah, it's overwhelming, truly overwhelming, because these songs came quite a while ago, and
Yes.
they are still when my Spotify account got verified, that also is a funny story. When that got verified was when how it got verified, let's keep that off camera. Because I'm sure people will be like, oh my god, she really lives under a rock. They'll go there. So when it got verified, and then I saw all these listeners monthly that uh,
Yeah.
Spotify sends that email to you, your monthly listeners. And I'm like, oh my God, oh wow, this is so cool, so nice, so sweet of everyone. That's when I actually, yeah, Spotify verification played a lot for me to realize that, yeah, my songs are very relevant even today. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of art and music, that you make an impact and you
Mhm.
actually don't realize how much of an impact you've made until a few years or even a decade now, I can say longer than a decade.
Yes, definitely much more. Yeah, yeah,
Like I
yes.
was saying, Nato Vastawa is just one song that I mentioned. So I have a few other songs, right? Patu Patu from Shankar Dada MBBS,
Yeah,
Nuvu Nuvu from Khadgam,
yeah,
the famous Humming, of course, from Bomarillu.
yeah.
I want to ask you, if not music, what would you have done in your life? I think you put a little bit of that on your social media about architecture and those kind of stuff.
Not architecture. For quite some time, I wanted to do journalism because I read. I'm a lot into fiction. I've always been an avid reader since I was a kid. My grandfather introduced me to Panchatantram, and from Panchatantra tales it started, and then my mom introduced me to Enid Blyton, and then I have like back home in Chennai, I have like about 4,000, 5,000 books which I've collected over the period. So I read a lot. So probably because of that, English was my favorite subject, and essay writing was something that I always used to enjoy. So for quite some time, it was journalism. And But now when I look back, I don't think I would have made a good journalist. I'm not so sure. But yeah, anyway, for some time it was journalism. But then singing happened very early. My first recording was when I was 13. So it happened very early, and then things just. I've always been interested in fashion design, which I did study. Yeah, I don't know if I wanted to really uh, become, even now I'm not sure if I want to do the whole have my own boutique and stuff like that. I don't think that is something that I'm not very interested in the business aspect. That's where I think I have an issue. Just leave
Right.
me to the creative, and
Yeah.
somebody take care of the other stuff, because I suck in that side. Just let me be on the creative side. So yeah, so I'm not sure if I would want to open a boutique and stuff. But yes, I did study fashion design. But more than studying fashion design, I worked as a costume designer for a dance company in Chennai,
Okay.
premier dance company in Chennai, through which I did like tons of shows. They were also the official dance school for a lot of reality shows on like Vijay TV, Sun TV, and all these Tamil channels. And they also were the official dance school for like Mirchi Awards, Sun TV Awards, and in Kerala, a couple of big awards. So through that, I got to design for the actors who would come to perform on stage. So I did
Right.
a lot of costume designing I did for the stage. So I have a lot of experience in that area, but not the boutique side of it. I do it for my friends, but yeah.
Are you pursuing that path today?
When I go to Chennai, yes, for the dance company, and sometimes when they have big events happening, then I get on a Zoom call, and they carry the device into the store, and through the through the video, I look at all the fabrics on display, and I'm like, okay, pull that red one, pull out that yellow. Okay, no, the one next to the green, get that out. Then try to do something with the, because colors don't end up looking the same.
Right.
Yeah. So try to do something like that. But yeah, it's a little less because I'm here.
I wanted to ask you, there are people who, usually influence your life choices, right? When your music career started,
At the age of 13, you
yeah,
said.
Yeah.
who
First
who
recording was at the age of 13.
who played a key role in your career that lasted for over a decade now? Do you remember any particular moments in the early stages of your life that you think perhaps shaped your entire career? Is there any moment that you can think
Uh,
of?
Definitely, Devi is very important, because most of my songs are with him, and he introduced me to the Telugu industry. When I
Right.
started singing at the age of 13, my first song was for A.R. Rahman. And
Okay.
I was too young. Even in the studio, I was only thinking of when am I going to go back home and ride my cycle.
Yeah.
I was The mindset is very different, and I come from a family of outsiders, like nobody from the industry. My father is a doctor, my mom is a homemaker. So they also never took it very seriously types.
Right.
Okay, oh, something is there. Okay, fine, chalo, go sing and come back. Okay, let's do something about it. Maybe we should keep pursuing, maybe we should go meet people. That really didn't happen in my household.
Okay.
And that's how Devi spotted me when I was singing in my school. Then he decided to launch me, and that's how I started singing in Telugu. Till then I did sing quite a bit in Tamil. I
Right.
was singing throughout my schooling and everything, 13, 14, 15, and stuff. By the time I was like 15, around 15, 16 was when Devi took off.
Right.
Like his movies released and everything. And then, so if you ask me the nuances of being a recording artist, um, um, learning a new language, how do you position yourself in front of the mic, how you tilt sometimes when you sing words with per b, you tend to get the blow per,
Right.
that her sound tends to come. So
Yeah.
how do you adjust your positioning, or how do you compress that, the technicalities and everything was through Devi, of course. And technicalities, when it comes to these things, definitely Keeravani sirs too. There's a lot that I've learned from him. He's an amazing teacher.
Right.
But since a lot of with Devi, what happened is like he would also compose a lot of these rough tracks. Like when
Right.
a tune comes to his mind, he would just compose it, and he would call me over, and I would just he'll just sing this. So it would be like la 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 la, na 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 na, without lyrics, just the tune. But
Yeah.
all those also help you to grasp a tune, you
Right.
know. So tomorrow when I go to a studio for somebody else, I have all this experience of him, okay, you know, sing this, he plays it, sing it, and I'm singing it. So how quickly you're able to grasp it. So that all that definitely helped you know, with these kind of situations. And Mano uncle, singer, the
Yeah.
legendary Mano uncle. So I was very fortunate enough to meet him as well at a very young age. And I traveled with him on a lot of stage shows. So in
Right.
that teenage itself, because singing on the stage is very different from singing in a studio, the way you handle the mic, it's totally different.
Yeah.
So that helped me a lot on how to hold your mic as a live performer. When you take it away from you, when you need to get it close, how do you keep your ear tuned to this pitching, to the monitors,
Yeah.
those things. So these were all very formative, I would say. I've probably done about 50, 60 shows with Mano uncle during that my teenage. So
Right.
all that definitely helped a lot. The recording side with Devi and then with Kiravani sir a lot, because the bulk of my work were with these two musicians. Devi a lot, because I used to sing his tracks as well, right? So not just going for the recording, even the tracks. So yeah, definitely.
I was gonna ask, so Devi found you at the school at the age of 13, but did you have the same interest as the opportunity that
Because
came to you? Or
like you said,
yeah,
your background at home wasn't
Yeah,
very musical, like just a
yeah,
simple.
yeah.
for someone who is starting out there and who are in a similar stage of their life where family support might not be the greatest, but you have opportunities knocking on your door. If
How
your
did you,
story,
yeah,
yeah,
how did you get into the world of music?
See, today it's a very different scene. Social media.
yeah,
Uh, you can just put yourself out there and get all these views and comments and stuff that can actually lead to a lot of opportunities. The other thing is reality shows. There are
right,
tons of reality shows. So quick popularity, quick fame is like, it's not that hard to access like when I was a teenager. So
Yeah.
so the scenario is very different today. Um, for me, the interest, definitely, I wouldn't say that I was very focused, wherein like, you know what, this is what I want to do, and I need to, you know, get into the game. That was definitely not there the initial years. I would just treat it like, okay, I by nature I am a person like, if something is given to me and I've been told that you need to do this, then I do it. That thing is there. I don't like to shirk or leave things midway. If I've decided to do something, then I have to do it. So I approached this like that in the beginning. Okay,
okay,
I've been called to the studio, I've been given this song, I have to learn this and give it my best. I am focused there. Once the song is done, I really don't give it a thought as to, okay, what was this, which film was the song for? Who is it going to be picturized on? Is the movie going to release? Has the movie released after a few months? These things were never on my mind. Um, Nuvu Nuvu released, and for almost 3 months, I didn't even know that it was a big hit. I think again, the lack of social media when I was a teenager,
yeah,
that I think were, if I'm not sure how I would have been even as a person if I went through that journey today,
right,
Yes.
because there's so much to people. Just you can look at everything, you just keep, I mean, everything is there for you to see. But so I think that is a big difference.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't, that tool was not there at that point of time. And also the other thing was the bulk of, even though I have done Tamil work, there's some Kannada work as well, but the bulk of the work was Telugu, and I didn't have any Telugu speaking friends. We had no family friends, no neighbors, nothing. It was all Tamil, Tamil, Tamil at home. If my parents are watching, if it's me and my siblings, it's English. So there was no Telugu connect at all. So the Telugu connect would enter when I enter the studio and exit when I exited the studio.
Wow.
Apart from that, I didn't have friends who watch Telugu films to, to tell me something. Here, you know what, this film has come out. Absolutely nothing. So as songs started getting released and as they started becoming popular, I would get calls from various orchestras in Andhra Pradesh, like from Rajamundry or Vijayawada, Vizag, the orchestras, the local orchestras there, they would have a show wherein they have to feature a female singer or a male singer or a bunch of singers. So when they reach out to me and they give me the song list, that's when I see that okay, these songs of mine are there in the list. Oh, okay, fine. And of course, some of it I would definitely come to know through Devi and his brother. I think Kadgam and all. Kadgam was one of the few films that I got to watch because there was a preview in Chennai.
Okay.
So if there is a preview in Chennai, then then they would call me, then I would go watch. Otherwise, I don't know how I would get to watch the films also that I have sung in because I didn't have anybody to go with. And Shankar Dada MBBS is the only film which mom and I bought a ticket and we went because we have never experienced the Chiranjeevi euphoria. We have no clue at all. So, and that much I knew that he's a huge star, like how Rajnikant is in Chennai, Chiranjeevi is in Andhra Pradesh. That I knew. So for that film alone, mom and me, we bought the ticket and we went, and it was, my God, what an experience. Well, we enter the theater and these guys are there with Bantipu, and they give you like, put it in your hands, and mom and me are like holding it and thinking, are we at the theater or are we in a temple? Like they're given like Bantipu and you have to sit there, and when his name comes, you're supposed to throw it. So all this was like very different, and I think that was the first time I experienced sitting in a theater watching my song but unable to see any visual and unable to hear my voice because of the noise, the way people were shouting in the theater. So yeah, those are like fun moments that I recall.
We come to Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube to listen to your songs.
Back then, none of it existed, right?
Yeah, and I want to ask, what are Sumangali's favorite songs? Can it be from a different artist or someone that you're listening to lately?
So I'm a huge Ilayaraja fan. So a lot of the songs that I listen to are predominantly his. So obviously it is a lot of Chitra ma'am and SPB sir and Janaki Amma and all of these songs. And I like some songs. I love something that is there, like when I go on my runs in the morning, some of the other songs that I listen to, like lately in my playlist, they're not like current songs. I mean, not like something that released today, but I love these songs. Ninnela, Ninnela, Ninnela. I love that. Then again, Taman's. I like that. Then Hoina Hoina, Anirudh's. Yeah, I like that. So some of these songs, some songs like this, I have. Govind Vasanta, Taikuda Bridge, their songs I love. Even 96, what he's done.
Do you have any original songs of yours that never came into the limelight? Something that you wrote down, that's very close to your heart.
No, I don't write. I don't compose. No, I just tell me to learn the tune and sing. I'll do it.
No tunes that come to your mind in your dreams or something like that?
Tunes don't come. Definitely not. No, I've never really even explored that. I don't think that has interested me as much as singing.
Right.
But yes, I enjoy improvising, like
Yeah.
an existing song. You get to do that when you're performing live, add your own thing. uh, and especially when it comes organically, that means you're really in the mood, everything
Yeah.
is going really well, and something comes up organically, so then it's like, aha, that's like one big bliss, one big high, when something comes organically. And if you have your co-musicians around you who actually catch it and they're like, that was nice, and then it's like it's a nice give and take there. So that, yes, but no writing and composing and stuff, no.
So you had to learn Telugu.
Yes. So actually, even Tamil or whatever language I sing in, I write in English. I think my thinking language is English, so I write in English. But yes, I did struggle, especially the first duet that I sang, the first proper full-fledged duet in Telugu was for a film called Nabutu Batakali Ra, which is Devi's. And it was a duet with SPB Garu. And I, halfway through, I was in tears because the language and then that charanam is a little musically, it's a bit kind of weird. It goes like somewhere like chromatic notes, somewhere it goes and it comes. Now when I hear it, I'm like, damn, why can't I get a song like this now? Because I have so much more experience. I know for a fact that I'll be able to do a much better job than then. But it was like the first duet itself was like one big burden sort of a thing. Like it was too much for me. I had tears. And then Devi came in and he's like, you can do it. If you cannot do it, then I wouldn't have thought of you. Take your time. Nobody's in a hurry. No judgment, nothing. Take your time and do it. So yeah, so that song was really, really tough because everything was new. Being a recording artist was new. The language was new. The melody was not sitting very well into my head. I think I was too young and too raw to handle a composition like that.
Can we hear a little bit of the song if you don't mind?
Dirana tom ta kita, dirana tom ta kita, dirana tom ta kita ta na na. I would have sung it a lot more confidently. I think I would have focused more on the essence and feel of the song because during the recording, I was focusing more on the technique. Are my notes hitting properly? Is the pronunciation fine? Sir, that it's something that's not there in Telugu. I mean,
Right.
sorry, in Tamil. That's not there. So it was very, very complicated for me. And those, I mean, if you hear the charanam, it's like it goes all over. So it was very complicated. Sometimes I feel like, if only I could sing that song today. Also, the ability to learn a tune when a tune is given to you.
Right. Yeah.
Till then, what do we usually do when a movie is out? We listen to the songs on radio, on TV, or whatever, and you're continuously listening to that song. A hit album comes out and you're continuously listening. It's on loop and it registers. But that is not how a recording works. You're listening to the song for the first time, and within 10-15 minutes of learning the tune, you have to reproduce it.
Right.
So that also requires a level of experience on how to grasp, how do you get the tune to register in your mind. So I had to focus on the tune, I had to focus on the notes, I had to focus on the lyrics, I had to focus on how to be a recording artist, how to express, which words to sing softly, and where to open up. Everything was new and too much to learn at the same time. And the
Right.
song also was tough. So yeah, but yeah, that was the first and last time I cried in a studio, so it's okay.
Any tips or advice for someone who might be in a similar position like that you were, now that you're more aware and you have so much more knowledge about how to do things? What those moments? Obviously practice helps, but anything particular that you think that will help to those beginners?
Don't panic.
Okay, that's so easy
Don't
to
panic.
say.
No, because I panicked and then
Yeah.
I stopped panicking, and then it was a lot more smoother. So don't panic. it really helps when you have a music director who is not who is giving you the space and who
Right.
is telling you take your time. That also helps, but that is not always going to be in your hands to choose. Sometimes they have their own uh, pressures and stresses going on, right, to deliver on time to the director. The shoot could be the next day, so before the shoot happens they need to wrap up the song, so they have 10 million things going on in their head. So if you have a composer, if the composer you're working with has the ability to realize that, okay, the, he or she is panicking, let's just give some space and some time. And because the music director is your guru there, right?
Right. Yeah.
He is the guru there at that moment. You go for music class, you have your teacher, but when you're recording a song, the music director is your guru, so you're totally under his guidance, tutelage, everything. So yeah, just don't panic. It's very easy to panic. Just like this you can panic, but don't. And go with it.
We've talked so much about DSP, sir. If you could probably sing, maybe, I don't know if you already have a medley in your mind that you probably
Okay.
sang of his songs,
Okay.
him. So if you can sing maybe a couple of songs for us.
Yeah. కనులు తెరిచిన కనులు మూసిన కలలు ఆగవేళ నిజము తెలిసిన కలని చెప్పిన మనసు నమ్మదేలా మెల్లగా కరగని రెండు మనసుల దూరం చల్లగా తెరవని కొంటి తలపుల ద్వారం ఆకాశం తన రెక్కలతో నన్ను కప్పుతూ ఉంటే భూలోకం నన్ను నిద్రపుచ్చాలి జాబిల్లి తన వెన్నెలతో నన్ను నిద్రలేపిరే అంతా తెగల్లరి చెయ్యాలి నిలువద్దము నేను ఎప్పుడైనా నువ్వు ఎవ్వరు అని అడిగినా ఆ చిత్రమే గమనిస్తున్నా కొత్తగా. And
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for blessing our ears.
All right, so if you're enjoying the episode so far, please make sure to follow the podcast show on Spotify, Apple Music, or any other podcast streaming platforms. But if you're on YouTube,
don't forget to subscribe to our channel, which is Monica Sankalp, and don't forget to like, comment, and share.
All right, so I have to give a special thanks to Eknath and his entire team, Capricio band, because it couldn't have happened without, if we hadn't interviewed him.
If I hadn't come across that interview, yeah.
Exactly. And actually that happened because of another guest from a previous episode. So
it's following the butterfly effect theme.
Yeah. So I shall pass it on to someone next now.
Thank you so much for saying that. But tell us about how did you even bump into the team? How did the story start? Was it back in Hyderabad or a US tour?
No. So I didn't know of them when I was in Hyderabad. So when I was there, I didn't know them. I think they started off around the time I moved. Around that time. So I didn't know of them at that point of time. But I think sometime in 2019, when they came over, when I think they were touring with Sunita at that point of time, that's when I got to hear, because I was touring with Koti Garu.
Okay.
So we would always our team would reach when their team leaves that particular city. Or we would finish performing on Saturday and they would be coming in for for Sunday or something like that happened. So but I never got to meet them, but I've heard a lot about them, and I've never seen any of their work on YouTube as well. But I did hear a lot about them from other musicians and from people who have gone for their shows, that they are amazing and that they literally were responsible for the birth of the band culture, which is so relevant today in Hyderabad. Like, there's so many bands and weekends are packed everywhere with multiple bands performing, which is a really good thing, because live music is the way to be. It provides much more opportunity to all musicians, not just singers, to musicians as well. So so I know that they are literally the trendsetters of this current big boom that's happening in Hyderabad. So that's all I knew about them. And then their tour was there happening in the US in last year.
Okay.
And People Media Factory, which is a production company which is creating waves now with a lot of big films in Telugu. It's
Right.
based out of Seattle. So somebody I know, Ujwal, who's my equation with him goes like 10 years back. He was responsible for many of my solo shows in the US when I was traveling to the US. I've been traveling since 2010, 2011 to the US on shows. So he was responsible for a lot of those. He does events. So he connected. It was through him that I got connected to the band because they wanted to feature a female vocalist.
Right.
People Media Factory wanted to bring Capricio and feature a female vocalist. So that's how the opportunity came to me. And I immediately jumped on board because it is challenging to work with a band, more so because they do covers, right? And I'm used to performing with proper orchestras where you finish the Pallavi, this is the interlude as it is in the film. Then you have your charanam, then you move on to the next interlude. So it's the set pattern as how it is in the film. But with the band that presents covers, they are recreating it.
Yeah.
And they mash up lots of different songs. So from one song to another song, you jump. And many of the time, at least with Capricio, they free flow a lot.
Right. Yeah.
Like if I take Nuvu Nuvu, the interlude, I mean, they play differently. Nishant plays it differently each time. I mean, whatever comes stuff. So it's a totally different experience for me. So it was challenging and exciting, but at the same time, I was very, very nervous because there's a lot for me to remember. They have been traveling as a unit for a very long time. So they are in perfect sync because they work together. They have like a minimum of 4 gigs a week. So they are like doing it day in and day out. So they know it at the back of their hand.
Yeah.
My biggest fear was I didn't want to stick out like a sore thumb. I
Okay.
need to look part of the band. I should not be like looking to my left and right for cues. Okay, where do I come in? Where do I go in? And when Teja sent the set list, they had like 98, 99 medleys.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And I had 2 weeks. So, so I was like, then he said, ma'am, just pick up whatever you want to sing, you can sing. So I chose about 40, 45 from that. And I literally worked my ass off preparing everything. And I after my board exams, I don't think I've had this many side notes written around my lyrics, okay, 4 bars here, and this is where okay, I have a humming here. Okay, after this interlude, I should not sing the charanam. It goes to the other song's Pallavi. I need to remember that, those kind of things. And they were very particular, obviously for good reason, that we have to jam. You can't just go on stage, you have to jam. So we had 3 days of jam before the tour started off. So I think the first day they were also nervous, I was also nervous. For them also, it's like, okay, a senior singer is coming into the picture. Maybe I might have my own demands, stuff like that. They had their own apprehensions. My nervousness was I don't want them to think that this is going to be a wrong fit.
Right.
Because we are going to travel. We did 20 cities. So that's like 2 months of in each other's face.
Yeah.
If we don't connect and vibe musically and personally also to a certain level, it can become when you're traveling together,
Yeah.
So all those inhibitions, I'm sure I had. But once we started jamming, I fell in love with their music. I absolutely fell in love with the way they recreate. And I think also another thing that helped in our collaboration is many of my songs were already there in their set list. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that many of my songs are already there. So they didn't have to prepare something just because I'm coming into the picture. It was all very organic. and how they have handled some of my songs and some of the other songs. I would get like so many times goosebumps on the stage, ah, because that's not there in the original. That's their own way of putting it out, and that would be so beautiful. Uh, so I had a blast. I had a blast, and they are
No,
lovely. They are
yeah,
lovely and very warm, extremely exceptionally talented,
yeah,
and gave me a lot of respect, lot of love, lot of warmth. And at the end of the day, I think, yeah, they were also very happy with the collaboration, which is why we collaborated again in Hyderabad, which was a
right.
totally different new space for me. I've never done. It's been a while that I performed live for public in Hyderabad because I'm here, and that too, the club scenario in Hyderabad is again new for me. But since we'd already traveled for 20 cities for 2 months, I was sure that I'll be well taken care of by them. And Teja is just lovely, and all of them are lovely. I love all of them. So yeah, it was amazing.
Why did you want to collaborate? So, what were your expectations when you started this project with them?
I didn't know for quite some time that Nuvu Nuvu had, reached this level of popularity. And I had this show in Rajamundry, and the set list came to me from the orchestra, and the song is mentioned. So I was like, oh, okay, fine. So I prepare and everything. I go on stage, and I start the humming. And from beginning to end, I didn't hear my voice because the audience was singing along every word. And I was like, oh my God, the song is this big. Wow. So yeah, that was my first experience of I don't know, feeling rock starish or whatever. Like, the audience is singing along with you. Yeah,
And
and
that's
after that, I'm experiencing that with Capricio, because and again, I think they hit the chord very well in connecting with nostalgia,
right.
because
Yeah,
they pick up those songs which, there is this particular period from 90s to 2000s where there are a lot of songs that immediately takes you back to, to your time. I think they have picked and chosen a lot of songs, and even their set list is usually something, it's the kind of music that I gravitate towards.
right,
Their
right,
set list is very different from the other bands.
right.
uh, they have songs that are not typically sung in music shows,
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
but these are songs that will be there in your playlists.
yeah.
Yes.
These are songs that you will be listening to regularly but are not usually performed.
That's a bold,
So
it's a very bold move to make.
exactly, yeah. So these
But
are all, I think, is reasons why they are maintaining their number one status.
like you mentioned, Sumangali, these songs take you back in a different time. What does it mean to you, though, the music and the songs that you might have sung or that you listen to from other artists? How has music impacted your personal life? Perhaps it shaped the character that you became. Tell us about the influence of music in your personal life.
um, so it's always there. My AirPods are always there. So that is one thing. I'm constantly listening to something or the other. And yeah, like, I would say both music and books, both are like, they don't make you feel alone.
Yeah,
You can sit by yourself. So probably that's why I'm someone who's very, very happy, at peace with myself, like just by myself. I know a lot of my friends who crave company. Oh my God, it's been 2 days since I went out or met these people. Blah, 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 they get all those anxiety and stuff. I don't get that at all. And I think that's because of music and books. And a lot of joy, definitely a lot. The joy in me is definitely through music. It makes you creative in different ways. I feel that's another reason. I would say the main reason for me finally opening an Instagram account is for me to put out my DIYs that I do at home, like just dabbling with the cinder blocks and paints and whatever. So that also I feel is from music. Anything creative. uh, when I'm listening to a song, sometimes I see colors in my mind. So uh, a particular song has that color. This song, there's this whole thing that's going on in each individual's head on how they perceive what is happening to them. So I think that comes out of me through these DIYs and designing. I think everything is like two sides of a coin. Only thing is, it's not two sides, multiple sides. The costumes that I like to create, whatever DIYing, music, books, I think everything is interconnected.
Lovely. That's lovely, Sumangali. And we spoke about live music and how you perform there. But in contrast, as a recording artist, we've seen like this technology or AI takeover now, right? Like recording 10 years ago was completely different. Like you said, you sang with
Yes.
orchestras,
Yes.
and singing continuously, like the entire pallavi, the entire charan, the entire song at one go. There must
It doesn't
have been.
happen like that. Yeah.
I know, exactly. We have singers coming
Yeah.
out and saying that, oh, we sing one line at a time and everything else,
Yeah.
producer
Yeah.
does for us. We don't have to
Yeah.
work hard.
Yeah.
What are your opinions on this? And have you experienced it? Like,
Of
as you.
course, by the time I started singing, this was the norm already. So technically what they do is like you learn the tune, and once the tune is registered in your mind, then basically it's something like a warm up. You
Right.
just sing the whole song a couple of times, or the pallavi or the charanam a couple of times, and then the music director is like, okay, now let's start properly, and go line by line. So sometimes it's line by line, sometimes it's 2 lines, 3 lines at a stretch. It depends on the music director and the singer. uh, Definitely it is easier this way, obviously, rather than how Sushila Ma and back then. I don't know how, when we record like this, I'm like, oh my god, how did they even do that? Singing in one stretch, musicians, the vocalist, everybody has to be on point. One person makes a mistake, they have to start all over again. The pressure, the stress. So I don't know how they did it. That's like hats off to how they did it back then. Today, definitely, and also the 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 most fabulous invention of all, autotune. So
Yeah.
anybody can sing. That's why I think performing live is where your real thing comes out, because then you have to sing properly because it's one take. So yeah, so the one take thingies happen live, and in a studio it's like getting it all perfect and joined and stuff. Yeah, too much of joining shouldn't happen, and that is also not a mark of a good singer, where like every word, I think probably that's what happens. Not probably, I'm sure that's what happens when a lot of actors sing, because obviously they are not singers, but for whatever reason, for the promotions or the publicity or whatever, they do it. But there, I'm sure they have all these lots of technical stuff happening there, uh, which is okay, I guess. When it's an actor singing, fine, it's not his or her main bread and butter or their main art form. But for singers, too much of patchwork, definitely no. And I don't think a singer who requires a lot of patchwork would be approached by a composer too. So yeah.
No, absolutely. Artists like you will be remembered forever. Even after a decade or so, we're still listening to the beautiful voice of yours. And I'm happy to say that, songs that you have sung, I'll happily take them to my deathbed.
Oh
it will
my
be
God.
songs are so special and so close to both of our hearts.
Absolutely.
But who do you want to perform with? This is a question I want to ask.
Any regrets you have, or any one artist,
Dead or alive,
yeah.
Okay.
someone you wanted to perform with.
Perform with, I don't think I have anything like that. Like I want to perform with so and so. I think I just want to perform with good artists who inspire you.
Right. Yeah.
So that's about it. But regrets also, by nature, I'm not someone who has regrets in life. Even when you go through your crappy downs and stuff, it's part and parcel. I don't look back at that. But yes, there is this one big, big regret, is that I never got to watch Michael Jackson live. Because for me, I mean, if Ilayaraja is here, then it's Michael Jackson here. They're like, they shaped, their music is what got me. I mean, that's what music was to me from the age of 2 and 3 and 4. It was all their stuff. My mom used to play a lot of. She was a big fan of Boney M, ABBA, Bee Gees, Beatles. She used to play a lot of that, and then there was a lot of Michael Jackson, Madonna, and all happening. So yeah, that is a huge regret. In Vegas, there is this Michael Jackson one. There is this show that they do. So when we went to Vegas, I was like, I have to watch the show. I was watching the show, and in the end, they have this amazing technology thingy of there are dancers on stage, and there's this holographic figure of him that appears, and they are all dancing in sync. And I was like, my husband was like, okay, chill, calm down. So yeah, but I think me and Monica should probably sing a song together.
Okay, let's do Nato was.
Can we do that? Just
Okay, then Nato Vastava. This scale is okay?
very high for me.
Okay, you pick it. You pick it.
Nato vastava, nato vastava, na pranam anta nike ista, nato vastava.
Nito vastale, nito vastale, nee gundello na gode kadite, nito vastale.
I wanted to chime in by saying "Nee adugu adugu na todunta nato vasta."
Okay, I got the correct lyric. That first thing, Link was having all gadbad lyrics. Okay, let's start again.
Nato vastava, nato vastava, na pranam anta nike ista, nato vastava.
Nito vastale, nito vastale, nee gundello na gode kadite, nito vastale, nee adugu adugu. Oh, that's it. Such a pleasure to sing with you.
It's an honor.
All right, you did mention about some of your goals that you had a decade ago, and now they're coming true in the form of working with Capricio. And then that's how I want to segue into our final question, which is the backbone or the core of the entire podcast show, which is the title itself.
As you know, the word Sankalp means, determination or your passion or purpose in life, right? And so today we want to ask you, Sumangali, what is your Sankalp?
Live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
It's like I'm never bored. I always find something to do. Life is just once, and do whatever. Just keep finding things to do, and I'm like always doing something or the other. So yeah, live life to the fullest.
What are your goals, Sumangali? Any goals that you have set for the coming year or the upcoming years?
So I've never set goals. I never have like these New Year resolutions, which a lot of people do. I always go with the flow. Anything and everything, I've just gone with the flow. Whatever comes up my way, I take it up and do. Whatever I feel like doing, I do. So I don't think I'm very ambitious. I don't think I set things, this is what I need to do. I need to do this 5 years down the line. I don't think I've ever done that.
I think it's more important to be happy than to be ambitious. Just speaking to you today, your bubbliness, your cheerfulness, the joy that you have brought us, even in this couple of hours. We are so grateful to you. We are so
Thank
grateful.
you. Pleasure's all mine. And you guys are lovely. Such lovely smiling faces both of you have. And you have this lovely 5-month-old now. And that's going to be quite the journey because I've seen my friends go through it. One thing that I was very, very, very clear about is that I would never relocate to the US.
This sounds like
I was so clear. Whatever marriage proposals my dad would bring, if it said US, I don't even look at the guy's pictures. I would just reject it then and there. I am not moving out of Chennai, period. Not only did I move from Chennai to Hyderabad, from Hyderabad to California.
That's life.
So,
That
yeah,
exactly
yeah,
last year saying that I will not marry a Telugu boy living in the US, and that's exactly what happened. And since then, I say never say never. Sankalp's
yeah,
mantra in life is to go with the flow, say yes to every
yeah,
opportunity, and
yeah,
enjoy
yeah,
it. Just enjoy the moment. It doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be perfect or uh,
yeah, yeah.
doesn't.
I never thought that I would actually live in my own house in California. I
Yeah.
had dreams of a household of my own in initially Chennai, but then Hyderabad. I was
Right.
okay with Hyderabad because it's just 1 hour from Chennai. But okay, now I'm here. So what do you do? Make
Yeah.
the best of it.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. We believe in what your mantra of life is as well. That's why we're doing this podcast, even though we have a little baby in our hands. But that's
Yeah.
that's our motivation. So thank you so much
Nice.
again for this
Thank you.
incredible honor.
So many things for us to think about and
Yeah.
learn from you.
Thank you.
Thank you, isn't it? We hope we
Thank you.
can
Pleasure's all mine. Done. All right.
see you.
See you.
Yeah, we just quickly wanted to introduce and say a quick hello to Advait.
Hi, Advait.
Hi, Advait.
I think this is he's the youngest interviewer for me.
Yes, that's you.
My mission is
He's ready to walk into the screen and come and say hi.